Hey, and welcome to this edition of Road Warrior. I'm your host, Grant Roberson, and today we actually test out the 2014 Dodge Durango R T. Now, the Durango is a fond vehicle of mine. I've actually owned the 2006 for several years, and I actually took this vehicle in really looking for the big comparisons from that vehicle to the current model. Now, one of the drastic changes you're going to notice right off the bat from the previous model and this one is really kind of the rear haunches and the haunches up front. Now, what I'm referring to is kind of that extra girth you're going to see on the previous model. Now, what they've done on the 2014 here is, of course, they've streamlined it. A lot of tight edges, a lot of tight body lines, and they've really gotten away from those kind of curvaceous offerings that they had before. Now, I was a big fan of that styling before this one, and it's really taken a little bit of getting used to kind of go to this styling, because every time we start to get rid of the curves, we start to go to these straight lines. I want to really flash back to the minivan offerings where really put some sliding doors in this, and that's about the excitement I found. But really on this RT model, this is one of the go-to choices I would go with, as it really has those sport rims, the body fascia all the way around, and really delivers that sport model that you want to look for in an SUV. Now, by the numbers, the Durango really hasn't grown much, but when you take a first glance at it, you swear this newer model is quite smaller than the previous one, and that's just not the case. By the numbers, it falls just within a couple of clicks. This one measuring in at about 201 inches with about 119-inch wheelbase. Now, by the width and height, it's just going to fall under 6 feet tall and just over 6 feet wide. So there's a decent, of course, SUV offerings, and it still ties in with the previous model. Now, going with the wheel choice, of course, on this RT model, it does bump up to 20-inch wheels, and they're kind of performance style models. Now, of course, the standard is 18-inch. Now, in any SUV, of course, you really want to have front end presence, and I've always referred to that as grille warfare, where you've got to have a lot of prowess up front. Now, of course, on this Dodge Durango, the RT version, they do just that with that nice black insert grille, the body color fascia throughout. Now, one thing I love on this vehicle, of course, is they've gotten rid of any chrome. There's not even any evidence across the vehicle, and the biggest draw to attention was these lights, this lower kind of light beam that attracts people. I actually had a lady stop me at a stoplight and really wanted to know if that was a standard feature. But again, on this RT, it really takes that body color fascia to a whole nother level, and with these new sleek headlights, they really give it a dynamic appeal up front. Now, swinging around to the business end of the Durango, obviously the cargo area, one of the first features you're going to notice is this rear stylized taillight design. Now, that's on other models like the Charger, and really unifies the brand, giving it styling cues across each vehicle. Now, one feature I do like on the new Durango is the smart key system. Obviously, it's on a lot of vehicles and pretty much replaces the traditional key with a smart key system that allows you to walk up to the vehicle, it knows you're there, and unlocks the door for you as you get close. Now, one nice feature on this Durango is the rear lift hatch, allowing you to really simply pull on the handle and it rises to the occasion. Now, once in the cargo area, you're going to notice traditional SUV spacing. Now, behind the third row, there's going to be about 17 cubic feet. Now, the best feature on this particular model is it's got dual seats in the back, allowing you simply to fold them down with one fell swoop. Grab the handle right here, it flips the headrest and tucks down. Now, what's great about that, once you do it, it more than triples the space, really getting around about 47 cubic feet behind that second row. Now, if you want the most bang for your buck for cargo space, of course, you lay all the seats down, giving you around about 84 cubic feet of space, and that's plentiful, allowing you really to haul those big items, typical for an SUV. Now, wrapping up the cargo area, one feature you're going to notice is there's storage under the rear floor, and I like it. It's a nice little cabin area that you can tuck things down, maybe for those items that you're going to store in the vehicle all the time. Now, to note, there is a spare tire, of course, full size under the vehicle, and traditionally, like the last model, it's a crank down system where you put in the corresponding tool, crank it down, and it will pull the system down to the ground, allowing you to pull it out and really replace that tire when you need to. Now, while we're at the back end, we'll talk about the safety features, and on a lot of SUVs, of course, they're coming to that rear backup camera, giving you a nice fisheye look behind you, and obviously coupling it with the sensors, giving that audible noise should anything be in the way. Now, this vehicle was the full-size V8 engine, giving you over 7,000 pounds of towing capability, and really the go-to choice, of course, if you're going to haul the toys to the lake. Now, if you go with the smaller V6, that's going to be around about 1,000 pounds less, around about 6,000 pounds, still decent, and really can handle anything you throw at it. Now, one little feature I like for the 2014 model is the hideaway system for that rear tail hitch, basically hiding all the guts when you're not using it. Now, one problem, once you remove it, it is really not that attractive, so leaving this piece in place when you're not towing is really beneficial. Now again, comparing the outside lines on this vehicle compared to the previous model, you're really going to notice the drastic differences in those kind of styling cues, like on the 2006, like I had, where you had a lot of haunches chiseled in here, a little bit more body width maybe in appearance. On this vehicle, really tightened it all up, maybe streamlined it, and that takes a lot of getting used to when you came from the previous model that really did look so muscular, with this one having more of a liposuction type exterior. Now again, the model we tested is the RT version, really giving you a lot of dark interiors, sport racing kind of look, and really that appeal you're probably looking for in an SUV. Now one of the biggest differences you're going to see from 2006 to this current model is right here on the dash, specifically the Uconnect system, which utilizes a huge touchscreen monitor. Now we've tested this before and we love it. It really houses everything from climate, navigation to radio right there at the touch of your finger. Now one drastic area that has changed from my 2006 model is the gauge cluster. Now what they've done is put a huge digital display right there front and center. It houses a speedometer, but a lot of other information, like of course the tire pressure, fuel economy, and of course beside it you have the traditional tachometer and the fuel gauges for all the information you possibly could need. Now again, looking at the styling designs on this RT model, what you're going to notice is that kind of coupe styling seats in the second row with that permanent center console. Now if you go with the traditional seating, that's going to be a bench seating giving you occupancy for 3. Now in any third row seating like this, you're really going to look at back seat access. How difficult is it to get people back there? And on this vehicle, it's kind of somewhere in between. On this vehicle, you simply pull the handle one time, it's going to fold the back seat down, and then of course you're going to flip it and tumble it forward. Now in other vehicles, that's going to be a little bit simpler, a one handle kind of thing, and it does it all in one fell swoop. But once it is folded, it does give you that access to the back seat, and then of course you can tumble it back and put it back into place. Now looking at the overall layout of the Durango, one thing you're going to notice is the center consoles and the storage that comes with it. Now on this particular model, again with these coupe sports seats, are very comfortable, giving each occupant kind of their real own comfort level. Now one thing I do love about SUVs is that tri-climate zone system. Basically meaning the front passengers have their own comfort, and then the back passengers can dial in their comfort as well. Now one thing to note that this is the RT model, but not to be confused with the SRT. Now the SRT of course tweaks out a little bit more horsepower, going to give you a lot of spunk off the line. Now the RT dresses up the vehicle well, but really sticks with the standard horsepower. Now this is the full-size offering here, the 5.7 liter Hemi V8 engine. Now it's going to deliver around about 360 horses and 390 foot-pounds of torque. Now this came in the all-wheel drive versions, really giving you that grip off the line, and came in handy of course when we hit the dirt roads up in the mountains and taking those off the beaten path, if you want to say. Now if you want to go standard horsepower, that's going to be the 3.6 liter V6 engine. Now that's going to deliver 290 horses and 260 foot-pounds of torque. Now by the gas numbers, of course, both are going to deliver decent mileage, but really you're going to easily get under 20 miles per gallon for both vehicles. So obviously deliver more horsepower, gives you better torque, also gives you much better towing capabilities. That does it for this edition of Road Warrior. I'm your host, Grant Roberson, and we tried out the 2014 Dodge Durango. Now, that's a fond vehicle of mine, as I actually own the 2006 version. Now, we've come a long way since then, and really this RT model dresses it up, gives it sport, and of course that interior really rivals that of any race car. Now, I'd like to thank you for watching this edition of Road Warrior, and as always, keep both hands on the wheel and out straight ahead.